The morning of November 26th is brisk and clear, and Iowa's gun season looms near. With that in mind, Max Mongrello heads to the farm where he has encountered his target buck on several occasions in recent days.
There's like 7 of them. It is the morning of November the 26th this morning, day after Thanksgiving. Ryan and I are back on the permission farm that Grant took his buck on the 23rd of October. I've hunted this place hard and bounced all around just trying to figure it out and trying to get more in the game. I feel like I'm always out of the game. There's a pin oak about 75 yards back to the west that I've been sitting in a good bit just because it's a really good spot. You can see a lot, but I've hardly had any deer in bow range. Prime suspect this morning, or the prime target, is Grandpa. The first mature deer we ever had on this farm. I've encountered him at least half a dozen times, and the very last time I encountered him, he walked this creek on this north side of this creek right here. I mean, 30 yards from this tree. So I made the move. He was missing for about 10 days, but he just showed back up last night, so I got really high hopes of seeing him. He seems to just be all over the place when he's here. So we'll see. We're gonna sit it out. Ryan and I are tucked in and excited for the morning. It feels really good. That's him. Boy, come on. I'm not gonna call at him though. I've called at that deer a ton.
I mean, theoretically speaking, he should keep working this way.
Yeah.
It's just that creek.
Yeah.
That's one thing that could be the game changer.
What'd I tell you, dude?
We're in his bedroom. 7:30 max, that was the deal.
Come on, big boy, get your butt in here for a shot. He should do that and hit this draw. I don't know, the wind's not in his favor, though.
I don't see him bending that little finger.
I just don't know which way. Oh, God, come on, man. Alright, well, it's just about 10 o'clock here, and it was a great hunt, more or less. I mean, we saw those 5 does and that really good deer over here, and then Grandpa, I told Rye coming in that when I woke up this morning and saw that he had come back through, that kind of told me that he is kind of back from his hiatus of whatever he was doing, chasing does. And I told Rye, so we're gonna see him, and sure enough, he was just right there. That's probably 90 yards, 100 yards right there, and cut bean just feeding and loafing around, and we gave him one snort wheeze, and I've called at that deer so many times that I just can't justify doing it anymore. I just want to kind of see what he does most of the time and try to kill him on his own terms. So I'll be back out this afternoon with what we've seen. I'm not sure exactly what stand, but probably back on this farm. So we'll see what happens. Just a few days left for the gun season, so the pressure is really on.
Although Max experienced solid activity throughout the morning, 30 miles to the west, Jared Mills' action was early and mostly limited. He sees only a few deer and one decent buck that is compelled to investigate Jared's mid-morning rattling sequence. After a short lunch break, Max Mongrello heads back to the same farm in hopes of finally catching up with his prime target, the buck he calls Grandpa.
It is about 3 o'clock now. We're just getting settled in, and we have already seen Grandpa again for encounter number 3,212. And then now we just got a little 4-pointer push a doe out into this cut bean field, so deer up and moving. We'll see if we picked the right stand today. He's up on his feet. I'm not sure why he was going that way. Rye thinks he saw another deer or saw another deer, so he may have been pushing a doe already. Or he may just be wandering around like he usually does, so we're gonna set it out till dark. I hope we made the right move.
It's like just borderline.
Yeah, but he might be getting there. They don't look great, do they?
He doesn't sound good. How cool is that?
It's going to be behind the tree, I guess. Behind me.
He's walking away. He's walking back up.
I can't hear you.
He's walking back up the ridge.
What's the doe? Why are these does freaking out? That other doe. Did you see that other doe in the woods? She's up there in the woods.
I'm just going down.
What is this buck doing?
He's just messing around back there.
The buck would pass by without ever presenting a shot, leaving Max with an all too familiar empty feeling. The entire month has been a video on auto repeat, countless encounters with trophy class animals without so much as a single shot opportunity. November 28th finds Jared Mills in the same tree as the previous evening, looking for the buck he calls Diablo.
It's morning November 28th, and we are back in the same stand that we were in last night. We left everything in the tree and we're able to get in here nice and quiet. We've already had a few deer filter past us. It's a beautiful morning, nice and cold. It's kind of the last cold day before we hit a little warm stretch coming up. I don't really have much intel on this buck that we're targeting, other than he seems to be in here, at least on this property, relatively often. It almost seems like he's in here for a day and gone for a few days and then in here for a day. And so it's just about being here when he is in here. I've talked about it before, but it's a tough place to bow hunt for sure. You don't have visibility when you get back in the woods like this, so it's just gonna take some luck for him to come by. But I do like this spot. I like the conditions this morning.
that one's gonna haunt me for a while. That's the second time we've rattled that deer and second time he's got away. And unfortunately, that one kind of feels like the last straw. With the gun seasons coming up, I don't know if what you could tell on the camera, but I was at full draw. Pin was on him. I needed one more step, maybe even half a step. There's one branch on a nearby tree that was blocking him. And for whatever reason, as he was taking that step I needed, he bolted. And I was milliseconds away from pulling the trigger at 8 yards. It's unbelievable. I mean, there's so many ways a deer can get away. And we've put ourselves in a good position so many times to overcome the challenges of hunting this deer, but it's not meant to be, I guess.
The next morning, Jared heads to a new farm, hoping to find a surprise buck. A rattling sequence creates an opportunity at a great deer, but with the days ahead numbered and his true primary target haunting his every thought, Jared elects to pass the buck. That afternoon, he returns to the comfort of his redneck blind, in the food plot that both he and his target Diablo know all too well.
Alright, here we go. It's about 1 o'clock. Kevin and I are settled into the redneck. I really like our chances of seeing our target buck. I don't love our chances of getting him in bow range, but I figured this would be better than nothing. I feel like I told Gavin, I feel like it's game 7. Basically just have 2 days left to try to hunt this deer before the gun seasons roll in, and then it will be trying to find a different buck to hunt once the gun seasons close. So we're down to the wire here. We've had a bunch of encounters with this buck. None closer than the last hunt up in the woods there. But he has beat us every single time. So hopefully tonight's the night. The deer are already moving. We've seen a handful already. There's some feeding with some turkeys out there. Looks like just fawns right now, but there's been a couple mature does walk through. Hopefully we get a little luck on our side finally and he takes a stroll within bow range tonight. Don't do it.
Let's go. Oh, dude, he just took a chunk out of him. Oh my gosh, that's the messed up one, isn't it? Yeah.
We still have some time left, but it gets dark in here pretty quick, so we figured we'd do an interview and then sit the rest of the night out. Unfortunately, no sighting of our target, but it's been a good hunt, a lot of deer. And what just happened with these 2 bucks over here is crazy. I've never seen anything like it. a few hunts back, Ethan and I were walking in, and we came across this 1.5-year-old buck. He was by the pond and did not look good at all. He was just kind of swaying, standing there, something wrong with him. We didn't even see him until we were 5 yards from him, and he was clueless. He was like trying to figure out, we'd walk and he'd like look a little bit behind us, trying to figure out what the source of the sound. He was completely messed up. And so I had got a hold of the DNR to see if I should put him down or if they wanted to come test him or whatever, and they said they wanted to potentially come test him for CWD just in case. And when I went back there after the hunt, we came and sat here for a couple hours while we were waiting for them. I came back to where he was at and he was gone. Well, anyway, this buck comes strolling down the lane. I mean, I don't know how long it's been, at least 10 days. And I recognized the buck right away because he's got that broken beam, and he came out and was feeding. And he didn't look great, but he was feeding with the other deer. And that big 8 that we've encountered a bunch, beautiful deer, he basically sucker punched him. That yearling buck was just clueless. He didn't even know that he was making the mature buck angry. But that's just crazy. I don't know if he's got a head injury or what, but regardless, he's a little slow and he's paying the price a little bit right now. Like I said, we're gonna hang in here for a couple more minutes and try to sneak out of here. We got basically, I think, just 1 day left to try to get it done on the target buck here, and then everything changes with the gun seasons coming in.
November has passed, and soon so will the hopes of filling a bow tag on a rutting buck. With one last chance ahead, Jared heads to the secluded food plot, dressed in a ghillie suit.
Ethan and I decided to get aggressive on the ghillie suits, and we had a really fun hunt. No target buck, of course, but I felt like if he was in the area, we would have had a good shot. I wasn't sure how much we'd get away with that many deer, but man, that was cool. The power of being in a ghillie suit like that. That's my first ghillie suit hunt since killing the Big Ten last January. So it was pretty exciting being back on the ground and just chasing all night long. I could hear a bunch of chasing up in the distance, and we had that one come right by us, grunting, just tons of vocalization. It was a pretty cool night, but that may be our last hunt in there before the shotgun season, so we may or may not get out somewhere else in the next day or two before the gun seasons open up, but I'm not sure about that. Now the long wait begins. We've got about 2.5 weeks until we can pick the bow up again here in Iowa. We're not allowed to bow hunt during any of the gun seasons, so I'll be sitting out of the woods and waiting to see what bucks are left to go after in the late season.
The first few days of December can still hold solid rut activity if one is able to stumble across a remaining estrus doe. Knowing that is the case, Forrest Binkley heads to a large bean field in Tennessee, hoping to find one of these rare gems. After a wild chase, the couple leave the field without ever presenting a shot. The next day, Forrest heads back to the same field, hoping to find the pair together again.
Alright, well, it's December the 3rd, and it is 73 degrees, so this is insane. I think this is about the hottest I can ever remember being in December. It definitely isn't affecting the deer movement, because it was almost just as warm yesterday, and I had one of the best hunts I've ever had out of this stand. That 10-pointer that I've been seeing, he came crashing out of the woods chasing a doe, him and another young 8-point. And they stopped about 80 yards out in the field, and he snorted weed. He was mad. He snorted weed like 5-6 times. They stood there for the longest, and he finally worked into the woods with her, and I had to slip out of here. I couldn't do an interview or anything because I could hear them. They sounded like they were really close, so I don't think I spooked them. I already got them falling out in the field, so. Gosh, well, he literally just came through about 8 yards underneath my stand, and I couldn't get a shot because there's a limb coming off the tree, and I couldn't get my bow over it. And then when he walked up over the levee into the field, I have a few limbs to my side that I couldn't get a shot through, and I've been meaning to trim them. I just hadn't got a chance, so I just paid the consequence for that. But hopefully we'll get another shot at him.
With the Iowa gun season now in full swing, Mike Reed shifts his focus to helping his daughter get a shot at her target, the buck she named Patient X. With that in mind, Mike sends his cameraman Rye out to the home farm to observe a standing bean field that the buck has been known to frequent. Good conditions lead to an evening in which the field fills with deer, one of those being Patient X. This furthers everyone's confidence in the upcoming attempt at getting Bella within range. Also on the afternoon of December 7th, 450 miles to the southeast in Tennessee, Forrest Binkley is heading to a blind that recent trail camera photos has shown as a likely destination for the 10-pointer he hopes to tag.
It's December the 7th, and I've actually made a move over here to my family's farm, which is about 1.5 miles away from the big field where I've been hunting that 10-pointer. And reason being is I checked the cameras today, and lo and behold, he's been showing up over here for the past 3-4 days, which explains Well, I haven't seen him since I had that last encounter with him. He walked behind my stand about 10 yards, and I couldn't get a shot at him. I decided to move over here, and I brought the muzzleloader as well, so there's quite a bit of hunting pressure over here on this farm. It's only 25 acres, so there's a bunch of people that hunt around here. After having him walk right underneath me like that, that one stung pretty bad, so he won't be so lucky if he comes out this time. This has been quite the chase after this dude. I'd be thrilled to death if I could get him. Bow or muzzleloader at this point, doesn't matter. I just want to get him on the ground, because he's about to drive me nuts.
That.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just dropped the 10 point. Oh, I've had so many encounters with that deer. He has worn me out. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe that. Oh my gosh.
Alright, well, we just got down out of the blind. Sorry about that reaction. Really couldn't see anything. I didn't have light, but we're gonna go take a look at him. Man, this deer has seriously worn me out. Finally. Oh man. I'm not really sure which deer this is from last year. I've been going through pictures, but I can't really figure out. From the looks of him, I believe he's probably 4.5, but it's a great deer. It's a great deer to end my season on. I'm excited. It's been a good year for sure. I definitely can't complain.
We're just getting settled in, and we have already seen Grandpa again for encounter number 3,212. We'll see if we picked the right stand today. He's up on his feet. He may have been pushing a doe already, or he may just be wandering around like he usually does. They don't look great, do they?
That's the second time we've rattled that deer in. Second time he's got away. And unfortunately, that one kind of feels like the last straw. With the gun season's coming up.
That.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just dropped the 10 point. Oh, I've had so many encounters with that deer. He has worn me out. Oh my gosh.
As this special month fades and we enter the final stretch of the season, each encounter without a shot opportunity begins to sting even more. This is certainly the case for both Max Mongrello and Jared Mills as their primary targets continue to elude them. We will sleep tonight with the hope of trying our hand again in the morning. That enduring hope is the fuel that will carry us to the end of the season. But there is still a heaviness. We will have to wait many months for the calendar once again to turn to the page that we love the most, the time when we will once again be chasing November.